What's up, everybody? This is Creek back at you again for the post game wrap up. Sorry for the delay, but I had to get a couple thoughts together before I actually came on here. And it's growing pains, honestly, because this is like I'm new to the going live realm, and most of you guys know I started out just basically writing these wrap ups, and now I'm going to the online thing and going to the streaming and going live and so forth. So I actually was online and went live to my regular Facebook page, which was an accident because I'm not normally on Facebook like that. And I knew it when one of my Facebook friends commented, who actually was a Knicks fan, and he started to talk about the Knicks game and how badly they beat us and how they beat us the past two times. So that's when I knew I'm in the wrong group. Had to log off, come back on the Six for Sixers group. So here we are, post game wrap up. Of course, Six for Sixers. We do the post game wrap up in 6 points, and then sometimes we go to overtime points. We always welcome participation from the community. So if you have a point that you want to bring up, then go on and post it up, and then we can discuss it. And tonight, we got a great win tonight. We needed a win. We haven't won in quite a while. So the Sixers defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers 104-97. And overall was an underwhelming game for both teams, really. The Sixers were down a lot of players again. And that's kind of been our norm this season I think, due to a lot of factors. But one is definitely the age of our players is a lot of our guys are over the 30 side, which in the NBA, over 30 is, unless you're a premier player or freak of nature like a LeBron James, is kind of like hurting time. So Batum was out until the closing seconds of the game, which was so thankful that he did come through in the closing seconds of the game because he was able to deliver a good inbounds pass to Maxi. And it is critical. I mean, a guy that is intelligent about the game and keeps his head and can make a great pass to get the ball in bounds when the other team is pressuring is a great thing. So shout out to Batum. He was actually not going to play today, but he was suited up and he was prepared. He was able to make a critical play at the end of the game. Rocco was out again. Obviously, Embiid is out, and Kyle Lowry was also out. Embiid, we did get some good news on Embiid. Embiid is going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. And from what I heard today, the best case scenario is that around the end of March, April, early April, he may be able to return to action. Um, yeah, we're gonna talk about it, Carrie. So that's the good news that Embiid is going to be reevaluated. I guess if they knew he was going to be out for the season, then he probably would not be reevaluated. They probably would have just called the season. So I think there is still some hope that Embiid could come back. So let's hold on to some hope there. And so that's the good news. Other good news, DeAnthony Melton came back, and he had been out for a while on injury. So shout out to DeAnthony Melton. Obviously didn't play a great game, but he's been out for a while. So, we got to give him some slack on that. It's getting back in game shape. And, the offense is kind of looks different than when he left anyway, especially with the addition of Healed campaign. So Melton's going to have to work his way back into the chemistry of the team, and that's understandable. But we got the win, so no complaints. Play the song. Let's talk about the points. All right, y'all already going off in the points. So I'm gonna start with my first point that I had, and then I'll feed off some of what you guys posted because some of what you're saying is very, very similar to what I've written down. My first point is Tyrese Maxey emerging as a closer. Tyrese Maxey is emerging as a closer. Overall in the game, he had 24 points and he was 2 for 5 from three, 40%, and 9 for 22 from the field, 7 total rebounds and 5 assists. Great game from Maxey. And Maxey in the closing minutes, he was the go-to guy. We've been talking about the Sixers needing a closer with Embiid out, and really with and sometimes with Embiid in as well, needing that go-to guy that we know can get us a bucket. And tonight, Maxey emerged as that guy, had some critical points, a big three-point shot around the 2 minute mark that really it wasn't the nail in the coffin, but really gave us a comfortable lead. So shout out point number one is Tyrese Maxey emerging as a closer. That's kind of one of the things I've been looking for, especially in Embiid's absence, needing that one guy to be the guy. And tonight it looked like Maxey was the guy. We don't know about what he's going to do Sunday in those closing minutes, but and I will say Cleveland was really, really, really bearing down on him. So the fact that he could still emerge as a closer, and he was really fighting for it. The one thing I will say, along with that point number one, dealing with Maxi, is that he can sometimes have a one track mind in terms of going to the basket and not thinking about passing. And there's a lot of opportunities. I've been saying this all season when Maxi he just goes to the basket with such a fury that he does not kick the ball out a lot. And so in the closing minutes, he did shoot some shots that were off balance, that were just not great shots to put up. And when guys you have healed on the floor now, you don't necessarily need to shoot an ugly shot or a shot that is low percentage, because there are other guys out there that can knock down the shot. So that's my point number one. But I do like Maxi emerging as a closer. Would like to see him pass a little bit more, especially when these defenses, closing in on them, two or three guys closing in on you, kick the ball out. Yeah, I'll go to my point number two, which is the same as Carrie mentioned, balance on the floor. The balance on the floor was excellent. And that's one of the things we look for from the Sixers, especially when Embiid. We know when Embiid is in the game, he's going to give you the 30 to 40 to 50 to 60, whatever he decides to give you. And so that's sometimes throws the balance off, and other guys may get 7 points or 10 points. But tonight, we had most of the starters, except for Reed, were in double figures. Campaign off the bench was in double figures. Reed had 8 points. And so Reed was very close. And Reed was efficient in terms of his field goal shooting. So it was a very balanced scoring night, more balanced scoring than usual. And even Maxey scored a lot in the last couple minutes. But there was one point in the game where like Maxey had like 15, and Harris had 15, and Hield had 12, 10 or 13. And so it was really looking like everybody was on an even plane. And that makes us hard to stop when they don't really know who's going to be the scorer and who's going to be able to contribute and to score. So that's cool. We got Barry coming in. I put the I put the link up today for you guys. I can't always do it, but today I did it. Barry, you got to turn your stuff on, man, if you coming in here. All right, so let's go to my point number three. My point number three was again, rebounding. We still need to work on rebounding. And at the very end of the game, Mobley offensive rebound at 147, allow for a second chance basket. That is the one critical thing. I can say though, on the positive side, Uh, Paul Reed had 12 rebounds, which was much better than last night. And Mo Bamba had 4 rebounds, which was also Mo Bamba only had 1 rebound last night. And I think Paul Reed had like 4. So it was a better night in terms of rebounding, but still, we still got to be able to, in those closing minutes, secure the rebound. I think, though, it was a little bit better tonight for us because Cleveland's bigs, to me, are not true bigs either. They Mobley, they're kind of lanky, kind of like Reed is as well. So he was able to get his rebounds on tonight, but I did not like in that closing minute that he wasn't able to secure that last rebound. And then Reed gets pushed around a lot down there, ends up on the floor a lot. So that's one thing we definitely need to improve on. Let's go to Carey's point, first point, Tobias. Now, he did not have a great game. I predicted Tobias would get a 30 point. He didn't get a 30 point, but I mean, hey, Tobias came in with 15 points. He was a +9 and he was 6 for 14, which is not great, but hey, I'll take it. I'll take it over what he did last night, which he looked like non-existent. He had 9 rebounds and 4 assists. So pretty good game from Tobias tonight. He didn't give me what I thought he was going to give me, but I like what he gave me. I like what he gave us. It was balanced. He wasn't out of control. He was in control, and he put forth some effort. He looked like he came back from Cabo. He got off the flight today. He came back from Cabo. Okay. Barry, I had to remove you, man. You were taking up you were taking up some airtime and you weren't going on there. I think you might have clicked the link by accident. So great game by Tobias overall, fitting into the offense. And we can't be mad at that. I mean, rebounding and his rebounding as well, which is what we were asking him to do. All right. Next point is turnovers. Turnovers were killing us tonight. We made some critical turn, which that's going to be every game. Let me look at the team turnovers. But in the closing minutes, I mean, we just turned the ball over, critical to out of bounds play that got intercepted. That's not supposed to happen in the last couple minutes. You can't make critical mistakes like that. Fortunately, it didn't cost us the game. Overall team turnovers, not bad. I mean, 10 our 10 turnovers to their 11 turnovers. But then again, points off turnovers, which is one of our problems. Cleveland had 14 points off turnovers and we had 11. They had 17 fast break attempts and we had 10. So I still think, even though we're rivaling teams with turnovers, we still need to we need to make less critical turnovers, if anything. In the closing minutes, we always turn the ball over at critical times. So let's go to the next point. Turnovers 5, interior defense. I'm going with interior defense, and that falls on Mo Bamba and Paul Reed. And I'm still going. We got to stay on Paul Reed and Mo Bamba's neck. I think they watched our posts from last night when I think it was Serge that was basically calling for them to get out of town. Was saying they got to go, or at least Paul Reed, or at least was calling for Paul Reed to pack up. Paul Reed, pack up your condo or your house, put everything in the car, put it in storage, and just get out of town. But Paul Reed came back stronger tonight. I still think that Paul Reed and Mo Bamba lack defensively in the interior, and here's why. Jared Allen, 24 points. He's good, but I don't think he's that great. So I think that and Mobley only had 8. We were fortunate because sometimes they play them in conjunction. Mobley power forward and Allen center, and they can be really formidable. But Allen getting 24 points, that come on. That is indicative of lack of interior defense and guys with size just taking advantage of Reed and Mo Bamba. And like I said the last game and really all the games, Paul Reed has, I guess, developed this 3-point shot, and he and Mo Bamba over the offseason, they both have. But when you're a role player, you are playing a specific role. I do not think that, and I think Nurse needs to pull those guys in the office, wherever the offices are, and say, hey guys, I know you guys are trying to expand your game. I know you worked on your 3 point. I appreciate all of that. However, on this team, we need you guys to defend the paint and rebound. That is your main function. We got Maxi, we got Hill, we got Payne, we got Lowry, we got Tobias, we got those guys can score. We don't need you guys outside the paint trying to shoot jumpers. And every time Mobamba or Reed is out there trying to shoot jumpers, we miss a critical rebound, and it sometimes can lead to a fast break attempt. Bamba's not good at getting up and down the floor. And so I just think that those guys, the interior defense was lacking overall, and it hurt us. And there's no way Allen should be scoring 24 points really on any team. I mean, he's a good player though, but I don't think he would score 24 if Embiid was in the game. And my last point, and then we'll go to the comments. My last point is campaign. What y'all think of campaign? Do you guys miss Pat Bev after that performance that campaign put out? I don't know. I don't know now. I miss Pat Bev's attitude. I miss the fiery dog because, like I said last game, we don't have any dogs. However, um, campaign came up huge in the third. Total points for campaign was 16 points, and he was 4 for 6 from 3 point, which really helped to boost our 3 points, 3 point percentage. Him and Heald actually accounted for the majority. We shot 41% from three. Campaign, yeah, as Carey said, he's always been smooth as an offensive player. Defense is questionable. Defense always has been questionable. He is high energy. He is multifaceted. He can bring the ball up, and it appears he can come off the ball. He can play the two as well. But defensively, yeah, we do miss a little bit with him. But tonight it worked out. I mean, 16 points plus 4 and a little bit of firepower off the bench. And we didn't get much from KJ Martin with 6 points. Obama gave us pretty much not much. And Carrie, you asked, did he shoot any from the inside? I don't think so. He was 1 for 5 for 2 points, and he didn't really deliver a lot from the inside. So and I know Bamba has been nursing a sore knee, so that might have something to do with it as well. So those are my 6 points. And now I'm going to go to the comments and see what the points are in the comments. Serge says I will post my thoughts on tonight's game when I'm home and charge my phone. I was able to watch the game fully on my phone. So I have a lot of things I wrote down. I'll try to listen to this on the podcast if the phone doesn't die. So I hope the phone doesn't die, Serge. I hope you're listening. Carrie also said bounce from the floor to Bias. D Melt coming back. Indeed. It was good to see Melton back. He looked a little out of sync, but that's to be expected. I mean, anybody who's ever played the game of basketball, and really, if you don't play in a week or two and you're used to playing regularly, then it is kind of it takes a while. And D Mel's been out, I think, for like a couple months now, so it's going to take some time. Carrie says, have y'all noticed that Maxi has been changing his pace, going to the basket? Yep, more stops in the lane. He has added different moves. And I think, Carrie, he listened to you in the offseason because last season you were so critical of him being able to go to his left. And he still tends to go heavier on the right, but he has shown to be able to go to the left as well. And even tonight, he made a layup where he was actually on his right hand side, but it was more advantageous for him to switch and lay it up with the left. So Maxi has improved his left. He has improved his shot selection. I would like Maxi to improve his passing and being able to pass when he doesn't have a really good solid shot. kick to the open shooters. Like I said before, you have Healed now, you have Campaign, and really even Harris can shoot the three at a decent clip. So there's no rationale to be contorting. I mean, I know Maxi, and I think that's why he goes for those shots because he can contort his body and make those crazy shots. But some of them in the fourth quarter at the end, particularly, he shot a fadeaway shot that was just off balance, and he was like in the corner somewhere. That's just not a good shot to take. He's so quick. He draws so much attention. That to me is the next thing that offensively that he would be such a complete player if he could do that. And then obviously work on his defense too. Barry says, I love the depth of this team that the team has. So many players, but I think they had to figure out how to get Healed the ball more. I agree with that. Healed was 13 points tonight, 3 for 6 from three, 5 for 9 overall, and he had 5 rebounds and only 1 assist. But Healed hit a very critical 3-pointer at the end of the game. I think that Healed on this team, I mean, for the Pacers, you had Halliburton taking up a lot of Halliburton really emerged this season. And so I think that's one reason why they traded Hield. They really just didn't need him. They didn't really need him. But on this team, I think Hield really could, average 15 to almost 20 a game if Maxi's going to be able to share the ball with him in the backcourt. And that's something Maxi has to work on. I think I think he will. He doesn't have to carry that load and it makes us more lethal. Hield can hit the three just as well as Maxi can, and on some games, even better. Like tonight, 3 for 6. That's 50% from the field. So I'll take that. And that's one of the players that I would like Maxi to start looking for when he drives to the basket to kick out. Hield's wide open and can hit that three. So Carrie says this was a good game for confidence going into Milwaukee. Absolutely. They need wins as well. Yeah, Milwaukee's struggling. And we get to see Doc Rivers again. I know you guys are excited to see Rivers again. I know you guys probably gonna drop a tear when you see Rivers. Like, we really need you now, Doc. That we're in the bind we're in. But it is a good confidence game going in. But like you said, Carrie, I man, I can see Giannis scoring 50 against us. And what's his name? Lopez. I can see Lopez going for 40. So they probably licking their chops right now at the combination of Reed and Bamba, or going up against them. I don't see them being able to do much with Milwaukee in the interior. The only way we're going to beat Milwaukee is if we play really fast. But even, they got Dame Lillard now, and Milwaukee doesn't play great defense, but neither do we, especially on the interior. But I think that it was a good game tonight to win going into that game. And we also get to see Pat Bev again. So that's going to be exciting against Milwaukee. Um, and also seeing Doc Rivers again. There's going to be a lot of rivalries going on this year. And now with Pat Bev running his mouth, that Milwaukee game is now emerging as what we would call a big rivalry. And you know what? Pat Bev was my guy, man, but I haven't really been a Pat Bev fan these last couple days because Pat Bev he's talking way too much. The first was and I know however you feel about Daryl Morey, you feel about Daryl Morey, but still, if you get traded, that's part of the game. That's part of the game. But then he said, "Oh, Morey said I'm not getting traded." Well, okay, maybe he did, but that's not something you want to put out there publicly. I don't think. Well, James Harden did too. So, well, that circumstance was different. Um, But Pat Bev and then Pat Bev, I'm gonna go after Lowry. Lowry might not even be playing Pat Bev. Lowry's his old bones. He's still trying to get back in shape. He might not even be in the game. And then what I really didn't like today was I don't know if you guys saw this, but Pat Bev was talking about Joel Embiid, and he said that Joel Embiid had to spray numbing spray on his knees just to get through games. And we all know that a lot of the games that Embiid was in, he was only playing through the third quarter. So he wasn't playing at all in a lot of fourth quarter games. So I didn't like that. That's kind of internal stuff, stuff that happens in the locker room. And that's not really supposed to come up on your podcast or whatever. I think Pat Bev is getting prepared for life after basketball, even though he's still in it. I think he's seeing the writing on the wall. He's from team to team to team every year. And I do think in one of these off seasons, because Pat's signing these 1 year deals, I think in one of these off seasons, is he's not going to get picked up, and so he's trying to pump up his podcast. And the best way to do it is just through controversy and running your mouth. So Pat Bev, man, you on the other side now. You were my dude when you were with Philly, but you will not be back in Philly in this lifetime. So uh I can't I can't ride with you now. And we play Milwaukee on Sunday. So go Sixers. And Pat Bev, I don't want you to score any points. And I hope Larry scores 80 points or on your head, like do a Kobe on you. So yeah, carry numbing spray. Yeah, he put it out there. Things is happening in the locker room. And Pat Bev, I don't think Pat Bev could be on my podcast at this point. This podcast is strictly Sixers. But if he does come on here, I gotta ride with Embiid and I gotta ride with the team. I don't know if I'm riding with Daryl Morey because that's a whole nother thing. So look out for my six for Sixers. That's gonna be a pre-recorded one. I have it already planned out. It's gonna be six for Sixers, the Daryl Morey edition. So look out for that. That's coming up probably sometime this weekend or early next week. Barry says, I'll take Lowry over Pat Bev any day. I don't know. I don't know about that, Barry. Uh, I don't think so. I don't think I would. I think Pat Bev brings those intangibles that I've been talking about all season. Lowry, he played good last game, but I have seen some games where Lowry looked really old against when he was with the Heat, which is why they stopped playing him. Basically, he just looked really like he really couldn't move. And so he hadn't played in a while, came back, and his instincts kicked in, did very well. But we don't know what he's going to give us in the long term. I think if I had to flip on Pat Bev or Lowry, I'm going with Pat Bev. Pat Bev has been consistent in the game. Pat Bev really felt when he was with us. He's running his mouth now. We don't like it, but when he was playing with us, he was pretty huge. I mean, Pat was doing really well defensively. He was a spark off the bench and even showed, especially against Boston. I think what he had like 25 points or something like that earlier in the season. Of course, Embiid and Maxey were out, but Pat Bev has shown to be able to fill roles when necessary. I'm not sure if Lowry can do that, play the type of defense Pat Bev plays, and bring also the type of leadership and the fire that Pat Bev brings. But going to be interesting to on Sunday. My brother Jervy, he said he's going to the Blue Coats game on Sunday, and he's going to attempt to broadcast live from the Blue Coats game. The Sixers game starts at 1. The Blue Coats game starts at 3. So hopefully he'll be in the Delaware. Well, they used to call it the Field House. I don't know what they call it now, but in the Field House over there in Delaware, and he might actually get to see Lofton play. Well, actually, Lofton, yeah, he was not with the team tonight. So I hope Lofton is going to be out there at the Blue Coats game, and our new player, Baisley. I don't know too much about him, but I have to see. Yeah, Kerry, invite Maury on the show. I think I'd like to have a conversation with him about his ethics and see how he's doing business. One minute we love Maury for the changes, and then the other minute we don't love him. I don't love having a team that's stacked with 30 something year old guys and they can't and they're constantly injured. But I will say this before I go. I do think that Nurse is playing a little strategy. And I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I do think that the strategy is to just make it without Embiid and to just get in the playoffs. I'm going to look up the standings. Um, but I think we're now in the fifth place. Eastern Conference, yeah, we're sitting in fifth place now. But the thing about the Eastern Conference is if we drop two games, which we are likely to do in this scenario, the Miami Heat, the Pacers, the Heat, and the Magic are only two games behind us. So if we drop 2 to 3 games, we could potentially be in the ninth seed, and that's just danger zone. We don't want to come into the playoffs like that. If we can get into the playoffs in the fifth seed, like where we are now, I'm comfortable with that. I think we can make some noise. I think we get there. But if we get in there in the eighth seed, and we're gonna be playing the Celtics out the gate, and that's gonna be tough. Although I think we can beat them, that's not the first round matchup that we want to see. And then the second round matchup gonna be another top three team. So that's where we're sitting in fifth place. The Knicks in fourth, Bucks and they have the Bucks, and we also have the Celtics. So all right, last thing for the good of the order. Didn't the Lakers make a run um from the plan last year? It's a nice, yeah, they did. That's true. I mean, anything can happen, and the Lakers have LeBron, so that has kind of been the Lakers strategy the past couple years is that if we get in, we can beat anybody. And I think also we can. I think with Embiid, we can beat anybody. I don't think anybody's invincible. The Bucks are sinking ship, and the only reason the Bucks are as high as they are is because I mean I don't know why the Bucks got rid of their coach and hired Doc Rivers in midseason, but that hasn't worked out for them. And we can't even say that's a chemistry thing because like when the Clippers had when Harding ended up in the Clippers, they dropped a bunch of games in a row. But then it was chemistry on the court with the players, and obviously obviously they have since figured it out because the um the Clippers went on a tear. They're now in third place in the Western Conference. So they're actually doing very well with James Harden because the chemistry on the floor. With the Bucks, it's not really chemistry on the floor. It might be some, I don't know, some conflict with coach and player, which is never going to do well, especially when you're playing the top tier teams. So, yep, if we get in, we can make a run. But hey, if we drop a few more games, we might not even get in because we're 2 games, 3 games out of we'll drop to ninth place if we lose 3 games and everybody else wins their three. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's the Six for Sixers podcast. If there's anything for the good of the order, drop it in the comments even after we get off. As always, like, share, subscribe. Obviously, we're going live on Facebook because the audience is bigger, but really trying to pump up the YouTube page. And if you go to YouTube, it's the Six for Sixers podcast. Please like and subscribe there because all of those special features, the Maury feature, I got one there on Tobias Harris. Those are not live streams. Those are pre-recorded. Those are thoughts that I have really not, I won't say scripted, but I have jot down my thoughts and really not going live like I am now. So appreciate you guys and the community. I did post a link in there this time. Barry, you came on there, Barry, but then you never appear, you never emerged. So you were taking up a box. So I had to remove the box. But anyway, we're gonna figure this thing out on how to get a good community going. If you're ever interested in being on the podcast with me and Jervy, John Jervy. I call him Jerv because we grew up together. Me and Jerv used to play basketball together in middle school and high school. So that's why we still are good friends. But if you're ever interested in joining us to give a point or two or join the discussion, just hit me up. Send me a direct message. I'm not so swift on Facebook in terms of messages. So you can also just at me on the page and tell me you send me a message and I had to go looking for it because I'm not on the regular Facebook that much and Messenger and so forth. So thank you guys for the community. I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun for me to do this. And I'm not sure. Yeah, we're gonna try a live stream on Sunday after the game if we can catch Jerv at the Blue Coats. If not, I might do the pre-recorded one or get back to my writing. But either way, I will post a wrap up either way. All right, everybody. This is the Six for Sixer podcast. I am your host, your brother, Creek. I will see you on the thread for comments. Peace. Everybody have a good night. See you on Sunday.